So let's get started. I know there's going to be more people joining on as time goes on, but let's get started here. I want to talk about purpose here. And the reason why I want to talk about purpose is I think we lose our sense of purpose when we start getting embroiled in business. So I want to examine a little bit about what is the purpose of a real estate agent, right? Why are we there? And if we look at it a little bit more, right, purpose is reason if something exists or done or made or used, etc., and intended to be a desired result, end, aim, or goal. And what we want to do is we want to look at that a little bit more closely, because when we speak to a prospective client, let's say, right, what is our goal? What is our end game? Are we going to do we want to bring this person in as a client right away? Is this something that we want to wait on? Are we not prepared to bring them in as a client? Can we overpromise and underachieve, which is basically a disaster in business? Or can we underpromise and overachieve, which is what most businesses look for? But if we don't have a purpose or a goal, or we don't have the end game in mind, it's very, very difficult when we speak to someone, even on something very, very trivial, that we're going to answer it in such a way, or we're going to propose questions in such a way that we're going to get our desired result, which in turn should help them. And that's all what purpose is about. So let's go into this a little bit more. So real estate agents' responsibilities include providing guidance and assistance to sellers and buyers in marketing and purchasing property for the right price under the best terms. Okay? Now, this is basically an outline of a job resume. Okay? This is a job ad. Okay? Determining clients' needs and financial abilities to propose solutions that will suit them. Perform competitive market analysis to estimate property's value. And that's a real estate job description. Job in brief: we are looking for a professional real estate agent to be determined intermediary between sellers and buyers. Real estate agents' responsibility include marketing, listing, providing guidance to buyers and sellers. This job is a great opportunity for someone looking to grow their career in real estate. I got this right off the internet. And the reason why I did it is I wanted to show you what a broker thinks agents should do, and how that differs from what agents actually do. And I don't think it's by design. I think it's by accident. I think it's because we don't really understand our purpose that we lose track of what we should be doing every day. So we all know that the simple solution to this is that in order for us to be successful in business, we have to look for new business all the time. And that could take the form of many things. We could do that person to person. We could do that via using technology. We could do that tapping into people we know, or tapping into previous businesses that we were in, that we could talk to them. We can talk to organizations. But the whole idea is to keep that conversation ongoing. And then what you do with people in that conversation is going to determine if your business is going to be a success or a failure. Right? So now we know what our broker expects of us, and we kind of know what the public expects from us. So a real estate agent's main purpose is to bring his services to as many prospective clients as possible. That's your job. And the more clients you present your services to, the better chance you have of having those people turn around and say to you, yeah, okay, that sounds good to me. I think that will be a solution to my problem. I have no problem signing up with you. I think your services demand a fee of X. But we have so many conversations with people that we're constantly wavering back and forth between our purpose and what we think our purpose is. So when you go in and you're talking to a prospective client, whether you're trying to sign them up as a buyer or a seller, there's many seminal moments that are going to come into that conversation. How much are they going to charge? How long is it going to be? What am I getting for my money? Am I going to be locked into something that I feel uncomfortable with? All those things are going to be a cumulative effect. So what you want to do is you really want to look at things in such a way that you're able to, one, understand why you're there, and two, know what your end game is. Okay, and we talked a lot about this. So I want to show you this gentleman here, if I can bring the video up. I know it was here yesterday. Let's put it that way. All right. Let's see if we can get there. All right, there we go. Just look what this guy says. This is about starting with
the end result in mind. I'm ready, you're ready, let's go. Starting with the end result in mind. I'm ready, you're ready, let's go. Wow, it's powerful. Yes, your ability to see the results before even happen is amazing. Wow, I want to challenge you. I want to ask you a question. Your ability to see the results before it even happens is amazing. I want to challenge you. I want to ask you a question. When was the last time you started something in life or business with the end result in mind? When you have the ability to picture, to imagine, to visualize the outcome first, three major things happen here that are going to help you achieve that goal much faster. And you can celebrate it, right? Number one, all of a sudden, when you have a clear picture of the outcome, the challenges become smaller for you. It's just like all of a sudden challenges become so small and you can easily overcome because you have that big picture. You have that clear picture in mind. It's so powerful. Number two, the momentum and the energy you have is just out of this world. When you can see, when you have the ability to see the outcome. And I'm not saying this is just like wishful thinking, sit home and visualize. No, of course, it's going to require some hard work, dedication, consistency. But the fact that you can see the picture gives you the momentum, gives you the consistency you need. And number three, the universe is going to come and help you. Everything else out there, you're going to attract people to yourself who are going to help you get there. All of a sudden, this thing gains momentum and becomes bigger than what it is because you can see the end results in mind. Without having end result in mind, you're going to get distracted, discouraged, and you're going to lose hope and momentum. With that clear picture, you're not going to give up. And all of a sudden, you're going to attract the right people to even do bigger and better things in life. One last thing. Success is not something you chase. Success is something you attract along the way. When you're going after this dream, vision, goal that you visualize, you attract right people to your life and business. You also attract success. Thanks so much. Stay laser focused and visualize the end result in mind before you even start. God bless. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Yes, it's all about leadership.
I think you took over my YouTube channel.
Sorry, if you love the content, subscribe to my channel so I send you a video every single day to keep you in the loop. Thanks so much and God bless.
Let's see if we can get rid of this gentleman now. Just give me 1 second, guys. There we go. Let's get rid of him. Literally, actually took over my entire presentation. So I guess he started with the end game in mind. Okay. You're gone. Everybody there? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay,
yes, Marco, yes.
Yes.
All right, good. I'm sorry about that. I have no idea. I downloaded this video yesterday, And it seemed to take over my entire channel. So like I said, I guess he started with the end in mind. But that is a very clear picture on what you should do. And the reason why I'm saying this is this. When you go in on a presentation, for example, what you want to do is you want to build a certain understanding of why you're there, the purpose of why you're there. You're going there on a presentation. So you actually have to see yourself getting these people to sign. Okay, and this is not positive thinking. This is just starting with the end in mind. Many people do this. If you work out, if you play sports, if you do any kind of thing that's competitive, you always start with the end in mind. It doesn't mean that you're dominant on just getting to that point. It means that that's the reason why you're there in the first place, right? We don't want to come outcome oriented because then we forget the process. But if we start with the end in mind, we get to see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is you getting a listing is great, but you building a business is what the big picture is about. Or so you understand this is just simply a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more people, the more chances you have of doing something that you need to do. And because the numbers are so dramatically pushed to one end, the average listing price of a house right now that you're working on is about $600,000. The average commission is between 4 and 5%. So you're looking for anywhere between $24,000 and $30,000 on a single sale. If you're getting both sides, if you're getting one side, you're looking at $15,000. Okay, but let's just say we're dealing in tens. Let's just say you're dealing with $10,000. If you're doing the one thing I'm asking you to do, which is one side a month for every month you work, that's $10,000 a month, plus you're going to cap within 4 months of that, and you're going to be keeping more money. Okay, so doing one side a month basically is the formula for about $150,000 to $180,000 a year job. But it becomes cumulative. That's big picture. Small picture is one side. Rather than tell you we want you to do 12 to 15 sides a year, we much rather tell you do one side a month. But the big picture is the long game, not the short one. So we're going to craft questions that are going to get us answers that are going to bring us into action. Okay? Excuse me 1 minute. Okay, so what you want to do, let me join the crowd. What you want to do is you really want to look into things in such a way that you kind of have to have what the client has in mind before you start. That's part of the big picture. That's why the questions that you're going to create are so important. And they're kind of the same for everyone concerned. Most sellers have the same wants and needs. They might vary a little bit, but most sellers want to sell their home for the most they possibly can in a time frame that suits their needs with the least amount of hassles to them. Those are the 3 components that you're dealing with, right? When you're dealing with an investor wants to get a property for as least money as they possibly can so they can sell it for as much as they can. And you might have a seller that wants to sell to an investor because an investor cuts through the middle game. And what they do is they eliminate things like mortgage, contingencies. They might buy a property with violations where your standard buyer can't because their lender won't cooperate. So again, that's thinking with the end in mind. When you standing in front of a house that's not mortgageable, is that house not saleable? No. It is saleable, but it's not saleable to the public at large. It's saleable to the small segment. One of the things I learned early on in real estate is that whenever you list a property, you always stand outside of the property and you say, who's going to purchase this? Okay, is this a first-time buyer? Is this a buy-up home? Is this a scaled-down home? What am I looking at here? Where is my market? Now, that doesn't mean that the whole thing is going to go that way, because sometimes the market surprises you and you have to be open-minded enough to let that happen. But for the most part, things are going to fall in a certain way all the time in real estate. They always do. The one thing that I still can't figure out, and I've spoken to a lot of real estate brokers about this, is the buyers and the sellers seem to have the same personality traits. In other words, a buyer of a certain home seems to have the same personality trait as of the seller. Maybe they're hard negotiators. Maybe they're very principled. Maybe they're, I saw it, I liked it, I bought it kind of people. But it's very odd, but they really seem to have similar characteristics. And I'm approaching 4 decades in real estate, and I still can't answer that question. So if you could figure that one out, you let me know, right? So questions get us answers, answers put us into action, or put the people into action. But the biggest problem we have here is that once we know our purpose, then we can ask the questions. The questions get the motivation, which bring on the action, which get the outcome. But what it all boils down to is purpose. That's your foundation here. Why are you there in the first place? And for those of you who have a little bit more of a benevolent makeup and you want to say, well, we come from contribution, that's fine. Okay, because we do. We help a lot of people out of a lot of situations or into a lot of situations that are very beneficial for them. But on the flip side of it, you're there to make a living. And in order for you to do that, you have to speed through this whole triangle and get to outcome. In a rental, it's going to happen quicker than it will in a sale. But by becoming a listing agent rather than a selling agent, or having your business come predominantly from listings, you increase the opportunity you have to make money, even though you're not directly involved in making that money. So if you have 2 or 3 listings and you're out showing another listing, you have 3 times more than a showing agent who has no listings of making money. It's just like when we talk about lead generation, the more people you talk to, the more chances you have. Well, if you put on more chances on the board in real estate, you have a greater chance of making an income. What gets in the way of all this is emotions. And because real estate is an emotional business backed up by logic later, especially residential real estate, we're dealing with emotions all the time. We're managing emotions all the time. And everybody deals with emotion differently. Okay, as a real estate agent, though, you have to be absent of going too far one side or the other in order to get things done. I think one of the best things that happen to real estate agents when they get their first deal or their second deal is they get to see lawyers or attorneys' reactions to the transaction. And normally they're very flat affect and they don't go too much one way or the other. Normally, that's where attorneys are. And the reason why they're there is they understand that they're the point of contact for the most part. So if they are very high energy, most of the time their clients will be high energy. If they're very emotionally unbalanced, their client may become emotionally unbalanced because they're going to take the lead. As the realtor, okay, when you have your client, they're going to follow your lead. If they call you up and they're very upset about something and you get equally as upset, it's not going to turn out well, even though you might have a reason to be upset for that. So let's look at a small problem here, right? How do we get a calculated response to a problem? right? What we have to do is we have to balance intelligence over emotion, and that gives us a calculated response. If we do it in the opposite way, emotion over intelligence, it's going to give us a chaotic response. So we have to use what we know, our knowledge, to outweigh the emotion that we're feeling. Because there's plenty of times I want to react to something, if you will, but I need to think about it before I react to it, because if I don't and I just react on impulse, it's not going to end well. I already know that about myself. So intelligence over emotion equals a calculated response. Emotion over intelligence equals chaos. Just think about it. Think about all these people that go into debt because of impulse buying. See, that's emotion over intelligence. I don't have the money to buy it, but I need to buy it because I need to reward myself with something, but it brings chaos into your life. Not really a reward. So simple equation, you could put this equation in everything you deal with, and it will lead you to the same conclusion all the time, right? So let's review for a minute. We want to start with the end in mind. We want to ask ourselves, what's our purpose? We want to develop compelling questions. We want to get the answers that we're looking for. What is our purpose? Why are we there? If we're there to talk to a seller, we want to find out who the seller is, why they're selling the home, and what it is that they need in order for them to move forward. We got to look for the purpose in the answers that they give us. Because sometimes people will say something in order to get something that maybe doesn't coincide with your purpose. And the easy way I can give you an example of that is if you walk into a store and someone walks up to you and says, "Can I help you?" And you say, "I'm just looking." You know you're in the store to get something. If you find it, you just don't want to be bothered by that person at that time. That person may earn a commission if they find you something or whatever the case may be. But because you're dismissing it, it doesn't mean that you still don't have the need. It just means you don't have the want to have someone else tag along. Now, let's put that in a real estate term. You speak to a for sale by owner. They didn't invite you there. As a matter of fact, you're the person they don't want there because they want to save the money by selling the home themselves. I've never met a for sale by owner that didn't become a for sale by owner for the simple reason that they thought they could save the commission. Biggest reason. Or they had a negative real estate experience and they just lumped all real estate agents together in one pile. And now they don't want to deal with them because they don't trust them. There's no trust. So when we formulate questions to get the answers that we are looking for, we might have to dig a little bit deeper when they give us one-word answers or when they give us short answers. But we're always balancing that line of becoming too pushy, right? Or maybe we're not pushy enough, because people will look at you like that too. If you have no opinion, you have no stance, you have nothing, then people will just say, well, you'll go either way. And that's not the person I want fighting for my price. There's many times where I've gotten listings where I've turned around where people say to me, you know, you're a little bit pushy. And I would turn around and say to them, isn't that the kind of agent you want working for you? Or do you want the agent that's just going to lay down and take whatever the buyer gives them? Or do you want someone that's going to fight for your price? The same way I'm fighting for my fee, my commission, is the same way I'm going to fight for your price. Changes their mindset a little bit. But it started with a question. Do you want that kind of agent working for you? Someone who's not pushy. That's the question. right? So we want to look for purpose in the answer. We want to analyze the answer a little bit more. And then we want to react to it in a way that's purposeful to what our goal is, what our end game is. And our end game is we have to feed our families. We're not there to show, we're there to sell. We get the desired outcome by following the right process and by knowing why we're there in the first place. I think the biggest problem agents have is they forget the reason why they're there. You show a home, you get caught up in the showing, and you forget the reason why you're there. And what I mean by getting caught up in the showing is everything the buyer says, you take to heart. Oh, this house needs a lot of work. Oh, it looks like it needs a new roof. Oh my God, look at all these windows. I got to replace these. I don't know if I want to work on the floor like that. I don't think I have the time for something with this much work. You know, they didn't take care of it the proper way. What's the purpose of all those answers? By the way, I already have the answer to that question. I need one of you to answer me on that. What's the purpose? When a buyer's putting down a house, what's the purpose of the buyer putting down the house? Mila, my favorite go-to person.
Oh, wow. I'm so flattered.
Come on, Mila, what's the purpose? Why is the buyer putting down the house?
Well, I'm assuming they want it for a discount.
There you go. They want it for less of an offer. So let's just take the opposite position. Oh, wow, Mila, this is really a great house. The rooms are beautiful. It fits just my needs, everything I want. I love the wood. I love the location. It's so close to the school. I could get to work right away. I love the backyard. But I want to offer $50,000 less than what they're asking. See, that doesn't work. The answers don't support the narrative. But if I put the home down, then it explains to you why I'm giving you what I'm giving you. When in reality is I like the home. The work doesn't really bother me all that much. I'm just saying it to prepare you for what's coming next. You ever meet anybody like that, Mila?
All the time.
Welcome to real estate. But if you understand your purpose, then those things are just part of the job. It's the same as the word no. It's just part of the job. It's nothing personal. It's not against you. It's just part of the job. People start out, they don't start out by being open and welcome and gracious. That's not what people do. People are very on guard. We're in very tense times. It doesn't mean everybody's going to react that way. That would be silly to think that. But a lot of people have purpose in the answers that they're giving you. And a good salesperson understands that. A poor salesperson reacts to everything the person tells them. And then they kind of have you, you're kind of like a chicken with their head cut off. You're running this way and that way and this way and that way and this way and that way. And you're really not getting to anywhere where you want to be. You know, I don't know if any of you ever played racquetball, but racquetball is like playing handball in a room with 4 walls. So the ball can go off any wall at any time. The inexperienced racquetball player runs to everywhere the ball goes. The experienced racquetball player knows that 80% of the time the balls come back into the middle of the court. So if they just take care of the middle of the court, they'll probably play a better game and they won't exert as much energy. So you can look at it either way. The outcome may be the same for both, but you're going to be in a much better position if you just understand why you're there in the first place. So when you show someone a home, your goal is to not show them the home, is to sell them the home, right? We don't make any money on showings. It would be nice if we did, but we don't. So when they start giving you buyer signs, and by the way, buyer signs are objections. Okay? Buyer signs are objections. It's not positive. Buyer signs usually start out in the negative. Then what happens is you start to talk to them a little bit more. I want to offer $50,000 less. You know what? That's fantastic. Let's put that in writing. But let me ask you a question. Why do you want to offer any money on the house in the first place? Not why do you want to offer $50,000 less. That plays into their narrative. That tells you why they're offering less in the first place. Okay? You can take a similar situation, right? A lot of people now are getting beat out on offers because they're in multiple offer situations. But if you know everything that they like and love about the house, because now this changes it a little bit, right? Oh, we really like this place, but we got beat out on the last place. What do we do? Now, if you've never been in a bidding situation or a multiple offer situation, for the selling agent, it is not a comfortable place to be, because you can get above asking price. You can have someone with a great amount of money to put down, a perfect buyer in every way, shape, and form, and still get beat out by a higher offer. So you need to understand where the frustration lies and why they're giving you the answers they are. And sometimes people give you answers because they're protecting something or they're hiding something. And the reason why they're hiding it is because either one, they don't want you to know, or they're ashamed of it in some way. So as a skilled professional, you have to understand where the line is, but you still got to get the answers you need to get. So once you get the answers from them, you're going to be able to react in a certain way. That's number 6. Move forward is what you always want to do. And even moving backwards, you can still move forward at the same time. And I know that sounds somewhat like a contradiction, but it's true. Sometimes we can use a thing called passive resistance to help a transaction along. It doesn't always have to be like a bull in a china shop that we're running over everybody we meet. We can do it in a delicate manner and still get to where we want to go. But the whole idea here is to get the desired outcome. We just can't become outcome oriented. We can't be so fixated on the outcome that we forget the process. And the first thing on the process is starting with the end in mind. Man, my PowerPoint just does not want to work today. Okay, so we know we need to think big picture on everything. We need to think big picture on our job. We need to think big picture when we go on a presentation or when we're presenting our services to everyone. And the big picture is, even if this doesn't work out, our job is to create more and more opportunities that eventually it will. And then once it does, you know, they say success leaves clues, and it does. You know what else leaves clues? Failure. You could spot them both a mile away. And most people fail because they give up too quickly. They're not that 4-year-old in the toy store with mom and dad who wants the toy. They're the adult who doesn't want to make a scene. Because the reason why the 4-year-old always wins with the toy is because they're relentless. They do not see that the parents are becoming embarrassed or that they're causing a scene. All they see is the toy. Okay? You need to know your purpose, and your major purpose here is that you're trying to build something. You're trying to build a business. In order to build this business, you're going to have to get turned down by people in order to get accepted. It's never going to be okay. That's a fictional way of looking at things. It's you get enough okays to sustain what your goal is. And you might have to get a lot of people to say no before you get the number of okays that you need. So it's not always going to work. And that's what I mean by agents giving up too quick, right? You're not seeing the big picture, and you need to. We think 3 moves ahead all the time. For those of you who play chess, you have to think 3 moves ahead. But in real estate, you always need to think 3 moves ahead. If they don't like this, where am I going? If they give me an objection to this, what am I going to use for that? And what is that going to get me? Right? If we start with closed-end closes, like, are you flexible on your commission? No. Well, that's really the end of the story, isn't it? So, are you flexible on your commission? What did you have in mind? Right? That's give a question. The next one is they're going to get a question, and then you're going to ask for commitment. It could work either way as long as the end game is ask for a commitment. Now, part of your business could be not asking for a commitment in the face where you see that this does not fit your model, where you think this is going to be too much of a long road for you to do. So if you don't have any listings, you're going to take whatever you can get. If you don't have any buyers, you're going to take whatever you can get. If you have a lot of listings, you're going to have a lot of buyers, and you're going to tend not to work with people that are a little bit more chancier, if you will. People who will not guarantee you the outcome that you're looking for. George, you're still on? Maybe George is having breakfast. Let's see.
Yes, I'm on. I'm here.
Okay. So, George, let me ask you a question.
Yes, ask
If
me.
they're hearing everything that you heard today, right?
Yeah.
Do you think your end game with your AP is right?
It could be a lot of room for improvement.
Okay. All right. But motivationally, I think he's there.
No, he's definitely there. He definitely he's a buyer. He wants to buy.
Okay. So now it's up to you to what?
To complete the task, to make it happen.
Because that's your purpose.
And that's what separates, like you said, good agents from relaxed agents and bad agents.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think agents are bad because they want to be. I think agents are bad because they, for lack of a
Lack
better
motivation.
word, yeah, not even lack motivation. They just don't understand their purpose. They don't understand it,
yeah.
or they're fixated on the outcome so much that they forget the process will get them there. You know, it was funny. We had a leadership call, and the regional head of Keller Williams was on, but his name is Michael Brandt, and he shared with us how he got into this business. It was very interesting because everybody I know that came into real estate pretty much came into real estate the same way. You're not born and bred to become a real estate agent. You kind of fall into it in a way. Okay, maybe there's an opportunity, you seize the opportunity, somebody tells you something, you see somebody making money, you say, I could do that too. It's that kind of thing. It's kind of haphazard in a way. But once you get your goal, then you could live into it. But the thing was, when Michael Brandt came in, he was in a different form of sales, and his sales ratios were much higher than real estate sales ratios. He was in a B2B business, a business to business business, where you have to go on hundreds and hundreds of sales calls to get an outcome. So when he saw in real estate that that's somewhat limited, he said, yeah, I think I could do this. And he started out by making 300 cold calls a week. Within 8 weeks, he had a team. That's the kind of business he put together. And that's what his skill from his previous industry. But the fact was, he was talking to so many people that odds were eventually he would meet people that would say yes. the more you do it, the better chance you have. That's just what it comes down to. Now, do you have to make 300 calls a week? No. But the whole idea is that if he's making 300 calls a week and he's getting 10% conversion, right? That's 120 appointments a month. If he's converting 10% of those, that's 12. So the numbers dwindle down, but all in all, because they're so lopsided on what you can earn, that's putting together a pretty dynamic business. So everybody I speak to, you know, they don't like to do for sale by owners. I ask them how many they've gone on. They've gone on 3. And all 3 of them said no. I know they're for sale by owners. They don't want you there. I get it. But the simple fact of the matter is, over 85% of for sale by owners wind up selling with broker involvement. That's a fact. But the one they give it to is the one who acts like the 4-year-old who has relentless pursuit of a single goal. They know their purpose. Their purpose is they went there and it's a for sale by owner. It's going to hurt. They're going to push back on it. But they know if they really inject themselves into the situation and they show value, people may see it the other way. Or they may tell you to get lost. But if they do, you don't take that personally and go home. You say, that's just a no. I have to get a certain amount of no's before I get a yes. With for sale by owners, it's about a 12-to-1 ratio. With new agents on a presentation, it's about a 6-to-1 ratio. An experienced real estate agent has about a 75% conversion rate. They're going to get 75% of what they get, of what they walk into. The problem is they're not walking into enough because they're more tied up with in their current business than they are looking for future business. But that's a problem that you guys need to get to. So what we want to do is we want to get you out of survive mode and get you into thrive mode. And the reason why the best way for you to do this is really understand your purpose for being there in the first place. Right? It's just like as a productivity coach, it's in the name. I'm there to see you guys become productive. This entire class was about you becoming more productive. But it starts with in your head. It starts with your mindset. So now if you know your purpose and you know to look at the big picture and you start with the end in mind, you know the outcome that you're looking for. Now you just have to drill the process and be able to create compelling questions for people to somewhat act in a way that you need them to act. That's the formula. You know, a lot of people think that this is just show, go. It's not that. The thing is that if you're on the buying end, really the property sells itself. You may bring some things out. You may help them along. You may show them how to finance. You may show them some things that they don't see. But for the most part, on the buying end, the property sells itself. On the selling end, however, that's where the skill really comes into play. Because you have to know about marketing. You have to know about negotiation. You have to know about staging. You have to know about price point. You have to know how to enhance something that's non-enhanceable. Who buys ugly houses? People do. They buy ugly houses every day. Maybe not you, but other people will. So you have to keep that in mind. This house is too small. Nobody's going to buy it. Did you ever see a house that no one lived in? You know, not everyone has the same taste as you do. Not everyone is looking for what you're looking for. So your taste has nothing to do with the clients. Your likes, your wants, your needs. Really, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It just matters what they're looking for. And the more you can cater into that, the better chance you have of being successful. Okay, so let's do something else, because I promised you I'd show you around the internet a little. So let's dive into this and see where we can go from here. All right, so the first thing I want to do is, I don't know how many times you go to KW Connect, okay, but you really should, because there is so much information here that you can work on and you can do. For example, our franchise, Keller Williams, is the #1 franchise in real estate. That's a good thing. We posted some of the largest third quarter gains ever in the midst of a pandemic. So we're doing very well as a company. I know I always talk about the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Everything that you're seeing from Keller Williams that anybody is talking to you about is coming from that book. All the models, all 26 models that we talk about are in that book. Here's some things on scripts that we spoke about. If you want some information that you can give out socially on your social media, these client communication kits work very, very well. And it's all there for you. It's all customizable, right? You want to put some backgrounds to, if you're doing Zooms, if you're doing Zoom calls, they're all here for you. You want a client communication kit, it's there for you. Okay, and then there's subcategories of everything too. So they're really giving you very little reason for failure. It's just up to you to seek out what you need, and it's all right here on this particular website, KW Connect. And it will take you into a couple of other things too. I'm not going to get into those today. But if you use just this that's in front of you right now, it's going to become much, much more helpful to you. Okay. Keller Williams sets company records for housing market. Okay, this was our third quarter earnings. We were the highest earning real estate in the world in the third quarter. We posted higher gains than any other company. Not bad. So let me show you a little bit on the internet right now. I want to see if I think I was knocked out. So let me go back in and sign on. Okay. I'll just get rid of this and then I'll sign on. I want to show you market statistics. I'm going to answer your question, George, when we get on. I know I've gone over this a couple of times.
Okay.
Okay. So someone says to you, the market is down in Queens, right? Houses aren't selling. I think prices are going to go down. All right. So now you don't want to prove them wrong. You just want to see where they're basing this on. What knowledge are they basing it on? Is it gut, right? Because then we come into the feelings, right? That's emotion over logic, right? We want logic over emotion. So let's just go to listings. We go to market statistics. Let's say we want to go back 3 months. So we're going to go back 3 months. And we want to know Queens. Do you want to know a certain area in Queens, George, or do you just want to know Queens in general? I'll take that as Queens in general, right? So there's Queens. So now, once again, we go to market statistics. We go to Queens. We're looking for residential. You want to put in condos and co-ops? We can do that too. We can take a look at that market also. This is not a way of pricing, by the way. This is just to give you an idea of what the market is doing anywhere you're going in any place that the MLS services. And our service in the MLS right now is very, very broad. Ever since we merged with Mid-Hudson, we go all the way White Plains, we go into Orange County. We can go pretty far upstate. We also go very far out onto Long Island. Our reach in Brooklyn is more, and our reach in Manhattan is more. Okay, so we could submit. So if we're looking at a 3-month absorption time, right? If we're looking at absorption time on condos, for example, in Queens, we have 7.4 months. Anything above 6 is a buyer's market. So it's more of a buyer's market as far as condos and co-ops go in Queens than it is anywhere else. Average selling price, 366. Median selling price, 355, right? Supply change, 15% more apartments came on the market, more condos and co-ops came on the market. And demand is less than 1%. Active, you have 55%. Contracts are up, though, 53%. Now, what are they up from? What is this based on? We're going to get a little bit deeper into that, but I just want to show you what we're looking at here, right? So this is condo co-op in Queens. This is all the way up through September. 852 listings came on to give us a total of 2,899. 169 closed. That gives us a 7-month supply. On that, we have 7 months worth of supply. Okay? So now if we want to go into this a little bit deeper, let's look at the residential. Residential, we have less than 6 months supply. So now it's a seller's market. Median prices, the average listing price in Queens is $888,000. Median listing price is $800,000. Average selling price is $819,000. Median selling price is $766,000. Supply went up. Demand went up. Right? Number of contracts went up. Closed sales are down. So now if we want to go a little bit deeper, we can go into the report side of this, and we can look at this year over year. So if we compare September to August, right, more properties came on the market. If we compare, let's see, supply change, right, 8% more. We spoke about that already. Absorption time, right? Over here, seller's market. These 3 months were a buyer's market, but these 3 months were lockdown. But anywhere you go over here, these are the rates we're heading for. These are the months we're heading for. Okay? It's the kind of thing where people will speak because they're going to build up a conversation that's going to justify their thought. So now they're going to be focused on anything that agrees with what their statement is. The market is going down. So they're going to look for anything that comes up in terms of articles, news reports, anybody talking about the real estate market going down, they're going to seize on it. Because that's what works best for them. As a professional, you can't do that. You can't build a narrative and then live into it. You have to take all the information that you get and then reconcile that information and come up with some kind of conclusion. That's what a professional does. Okay, so that's Queens. That's Queens year-over-year report, right? That's market statistics. But I wanted to show you one other thing here, right? So I always tell you, fool around, go to places, look at things. So I wanted to look at a thing called ListTrack, right? I get reports from it every once in a while, and I wanted to see what that's all about. So if you go down here, it's right there, okay? So now let's say I'm having a conversation with one of my listings. Okay, so let's see what we can learn from ListTrack, right? Where are the most views coming from? Zillow. Where are the second most views coming from? A company owned by Zillow called Trulia. IDX is next. Okay, IDX is all the search engines that agents put on their websites and companies have on their websites. They work through broker reciprocity. They reproduce the internet on websites. One Key, 24 views. I got 682 views of one of my listings on Zillow, and I got 24 on MLS. I got 18 on homes.com, and on any other MLSs, I'm getting 18. But look at the amount of Zillow inquiries. That's why Zillow is the 800-pound gorilla in the room, because people now associate the word Zillow with the word real estate, which is one of the major reasons why Zillow is becoming a real estate company before our eyes. So these are visitors. I made 2 price breaks. Look where my visitor total went to. Buyers by value. Okay. So now if I want to see listing stats, and I want to go into, let's say I want to go into this one. Okay. Again, where's my buyers coming from? That's the number of times it was viewed, right? If I want to look at it a month, I can look at it a month. If I want to look at all, I can look at it all. So now, if you're speaking to a seller and they ask you, nobody's coming to see my house, but you say, but your house was looked at over 11,000 times online. The average view of similar homes was here. This is us, and this is our competition. So we're getting more eyes on this house than our competition. We're outpacing them, right? Average views for similar homes, us. Would that make a seller happy? Hey, George, if you're the seller of this house, are you happy? Did George disappear?
Marco, I'm right here.
Okay, there you go. So if you're the seller of this home, are you happy? Am I doing my job marketing wise?
You said it got viewed 11,000 times, right?
Yeah. And this is us, and this is our competition. These are houses that are similar to our house, and this is us. So we're outpacing them by 3 to 1.
Yeah, but also, what if as a seller I tell you, looking at it online is totally different from seeing it in person? There's no action. I don't see anything. You're not holding no open houses. You're not.
Oh no, I'm doing all that. But here, let's go back to that question, right? When they say I'm not seeing anything, meaning that nobody's buying it.
Yeah. Or nobody's making an offer.
Okay, let's look at this.
Right?
One. Let's go to this one because that's the situation. Let's go to this listing because that's the situation we have right now. Okay. This person has turned down an offer that was 12% less than their asking price. Okay. I want you to look at the total views. I want you to look at similar homes. So we're getting people to look at the home.
Yeah.
They're not calling to see it. They're not saving it. We know that already. Okay. So they're looking at it and they're passing it by. The only thing we can do is get them to look. The reason why buyers don't hook on to something is because they don't see the value. Right? That's it. Look at the visitor. See how it's up and down and up and down? We don't have that nice trajectory going up. This is the scary part. 0. 0 inquiries. So you had 226 people look at the house and nobody wanted to see it. What is that telling you?
Pictures are not good.
No, the pictures are great. What is that telling you?
The house is not that great.
The price is too high.
Yes, my bad. Damn, I was off.
10 days, no showings. 10 showings, no offer. Your price is too high. Okay?
And you as an agent have to tell that to him, right? Or her.
I have it built into my listing presentation that if we don't get our desired result within 30 days, we agree to sit down and revisit the price. We did. We did. We dropped the price of this house in 30 days, $700,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, $700,000. So, yeah, little tough, but they're asking a lot of money, and that's what happens when you ask a lot of money. If you ask a lot of money and you have a lot of value, people will flock to it.
Marco, can I ask you? So, I'm sure in your career, have you got a seller that say, "No, dude, we're not dropping. I'll just drop you. I'm gonna get my money." Have you heard stories like that?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, listen, I don't want my picture to grow old on their lawn. Okay? First of all, if the house doesn't sell, do I make any money?
No, not at all.
Okay. But I could actually lose money from it. Because if I'm the sign up there for a year that doesn't sell the house, guess what? I'm Marco Lapadura, the guy who can't sell houses.
Yeah, in that neighborhood, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. You want to cut and go. So you're going to make a decision at some point that you're either going to move or you're not. And the best 4-letter word in real estate, with the exception of sold, is next. Sometimes I don't want to be the first real estate agent to get the house because I know the owner's expectations are so skewed, are so high, that I'm never going to be able to get them. And sometimes people want you to be, they're speculator. They're going to put the property on the market at a make me sell price. I mean, really, everybody has a make me sell price. If somebody knocked on my door today and said, "Marco, I'll give you $2 million for your home," I'd say, "Good, here's the keys." Everybody has a make me sell price, but the realistic thing of getting a make me sell price is not very realistic. And if you want to be the real estate agent that hangs around for something like that, that's tough. But if that's your only listing, now that's really tough. Because if that's your only listing, what you're looking at is a constant back and forth of, why isn't this house isn't selling? Why aren't you bringing people by? That's expired waiting to happen. That's why it's so important, not only for you to get the listing, but to get the listing at a price that it's going to sell. Reasonably priced listings or fair price listings, market value listings, those are the ones that sell. Things that are very, very high above market sit. And the funny part about it is not only do they sit, the people who are supposed to see them don't even see them because they don't know they're there, because they're not within the parameters that they're searching in on the internet. And all people start out on the internet in order to look for something. So if they set their parameters too low, or what their budget is, or what they think that value is, they're not even seeing that house. And buyers know. Buyers know today what values are. Your job is to get them through the process. That's your major purpose in real estate when it comes to buyers and sellers right now is getting them through the process. That's why if you're not process oriented, it's not going to be the outcome that you're looking for. We are no longer the keeper of all information. That information's out there, it's everywhere. So that part of it is gone. Now what we can do is guide them through. But here, 309 views, zero inquiries, 0 shares, 0 favorites. Not a good picture. And they turned down an offer, which was a very good offer, by the way. And was right in line with what we said it was worth, but it never happened. What could you do? All right. So this is a thing called ListTrack. If you have any listings on MLS, it gives you this automatically. As I said, you should always go into MLS and fool around on a couple of things because you just never know what you're going to find. ListTrack is very valuable. It will help you a lot with your clients, and you can print the report and send it to them. Kind of makes you look like you know what you're doing, huh? Just another thing for when you guys get some listings up on the board. Let's see. Rose.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Rose, do you think showing this to some of the seller clients you have might help them?
I think it's brilliant. I never knew it existed, but I just had a quick question. Just got to my big computer. Do you mind showing me how to get
Sure,
access?
no problem. Right, so what you're going to do is you're going to go, let me just go from here. It'll be easier. Okay, so you might have it in a different place. I have it under resources.
Okay.
Right? Sometimes you guys have it all down on the second line. I don't know how you have your info center set up. I used to have my resources over here, but for some reason it moved. But I go up here on the resource page, and that shows you everything that MLS has to offer, right? Some of it is pay as you go. Some of it is free. You just go down. ListTrack is right here. You see it?
Yes.
Okay, there it is, right? And then another good thing for you guys to know about a little bit is RPR. RPR used to be called Find. The only way you could get on RPR, by the way, though, just to let you know, it's asking for my, I don't think this is going to let me on this way. I'll try. RPR allows you to search anywhere in the United States. It also allows you to help people get values wherever it is. So somebody give me out-of-state zip code. Let's see. Nope, that's all here.
I got one for you.
Yep, I'm ready.
Let's do 07087.
Where's that?
Jersey.
Oh, yeah, it certainly is. You want to look for sale there?
Whatever you want.
Okay, works for me. Well, let's get this a little bit more. Let's say we want to look in a price range. No, I'm not going to pick a price range, but let's say bedrooms. I want a 4-bedroom house and I want 2+ baths. How do you want them listed? You want them listed from most expensive to least expensive, or vice versa?
Let's go for the mansions. So go to the most expensive.
Okay. So you got from 2.9 on down.
I just gave you that zip code. My friend lives in that area, so that's why I just gave it to you.
Okay. No, hey, listen, that's fine. But let's say you were going to your friend's house, right? And you wanted to get a general idea because he may say to you, hey, do you know what the area is like here? Do you know what prices are like here? Now, naturally, you're going to give them your app, right? So they can do their own search. But you can search a little for them too.
Yeah.
So not only do you have what's available to us on MLS, you have everything else that's available all around the country. Rose, didn't we use RPR in Georgia when you had that Georgia referral?
Oh, yes, we did. That
Yeah.
was a
Yeah,
lot.
right. So it becomes helpful, and then you could look for an agent in KW to refer them down there. Very neat little process. So those are two things that you have that you probably didn't even know you had. Next class on Saturday, I'll show you two more. Does anybody have any questions, any insights, anything else that they need to ask me before we wrap up today? If you got your survey, please fill it out on PC and get it back. Remember, it's anonymous, so you can talk about whatever you need to talk about, but it's going to help us for 2021 really get the courses where we need them. That's how we're going to figure out what we have to dwell on, okay? What we have to give you guys the most of. Also, too, naturally, if you know anybody who's looking to start a career in real estate or has a career in real estate.
Here's a result from the web.
Oh, look, my phone's talking to me again without asking. Anybody who's looking for a career in real estate or wants to better a career that they already have in real estate, make sure they talk to me, either me or Jen, and we can maybe put them on the right path. So with that in mind, guys, you all have a very safe and happy Saturday. I'll see you on Wednesday.